Talk about a guy who does a terrific job, Nick Chubb. Now, we mentioned in the last segment that some of the people coming clean on how they feel about Baker Mayfield. Now, all of a sudden, everybody seems to be really charged up about Nick Chubb. What do you think about him?
Well, you just can't say enough good things about Nick Chubb. He's such a team player. He's quiet. When he gets to the end zone, he's humble. He acts like he's been there before. All he wants to do is win football games. I think he kind of embodies the vibe of Cleveland. To me, in some ways, he's sort of the face of the franchise, or has been a little bit, even though there's been all these other big name stars like Baker and Odell and Jarvis and Miles. Nick seems to me to sort of say Cleveland Browns, and he's just that old school runner.
Okay, does he prove the adage that in the NFL you can find a runner almost anywhere? Instead of Barkley was taken as a first pick, and some other guys have, but Chubb shows that if you did it right and you did your homework, you can find a guy.
Yeah, that's true. I think the key going forward will be, and of course we know how the Browns feel about Nick Chubb, and they of course want to keep him and for the long term because they love him. But when it comes to economics, they are going to have some decisions to make on Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and who do you pay and how much do you pay them? How much do they value the running back position from an analytics standpoint? And they're going to run this like a business. So as we move forward, it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
Okay, let's take a look at the top running backs for 2020 as decided by CBSSports.com. Let's take a look. Christian McCaffrey is number 1 with the Panthers. Ezekiel Elliott, the Cowboys. Saquon Barkley is number 3 with the Giants. Derrick Henry with the Titans, and they've got Nick Chubb as number 10, number 5 rather. So what does CBS Sports say about that? Well, it's kind of interesting language, but Chubb is an animal by any and all measures, and the fact that Cleveland was able to secure him without using a first-round pick is a coup. Chubb is a premier back who, as crazy as it sounds, hasn't hit his peak yet. That'll happen when Baker Mayfield and the passing attack can start consistently stretching the field, leaving opposing defenses with the inability to stack the box against Chubb. Once that begins to happen, not even animal control will be able to get this dog back to the cage. It'll be interesting. Because one thing that'll save him, I think, Mary Kay, not that he needs to be saved, but if he gets help with that two-back offense they're supposed to have, that'll give him more chance to recover. It'll give him just more chance to use his talent.
It's interesting because Kevin Stefanski, when we had the Zoom call with him last week, he readily admitted that he is really thinking about how am I going to divvy up this pie? And they do have a good problem in who do you give the ball to? Whose hands do you take the ball out of when you've got a Kareem Hunt, who led the NFL in rushing as a rookie, and Nick Chubb, who almost led the NFL in rushing last year, right behind Derrick Henry. So, it's a great problem to have, but I wonder how this is going to go. I know they're going to run the ball a lot, but how do you keep both of those guys happy and fresh and contributing?
Well, you also you've added some tight ends. That's number 1, and you also have a fullback that you haven't had. So it's going to be interesting not only how many touches they get, but what kind of touches they're going to get.
Well, yeah, and I think you could do so many things with Kareem Hunt that if he starts to show that he needs to be on the field and deserves to be on the field to help this football team win, you can use him as a fullback at times. You can use him as an H-back in your 2 tight end scheme. You can split him out wide. You can put him in the slot. He can catch the ball. I think he'll be invaluable. And I don't think that they're going to share with the Baltimore Ravens exactly how they're going to use him because, he wasn't that, he didn't play that large of a role last year. So he's a little bit of an unknown and a little bit of a weapon that they can spring upon their early opponents.